So this is just going to have to be a windy and blustery video. Hi, it's Carrie in Colorado Tulips. We're in our zone 5B and it is Mother's Day, May 7th, I believe that is. What you're seeing here is my stop at Tagawa Gardens. Yes, $80 worth of just 6 small plants. We have 3 of the Rockin' series, Playing the Blues. Those are in the back with these little purple florets on the top, and they are hopefully going to get like 3 feet tall and several feet wide too. And the plan is to put them one in the center of each one of these 3 planters to just help block the view of the houses. And then what we have down here as well are 3 Supertunias. We've got the Bubblegum, and we have a cafe, which I've always liked. At the Tagawa Gardens Garden Center, they were supposed to have the Supertunia Silverberry trailing, but they did not. They were completely sold out. So I ordered those online from Home Depot, and they should be here in a week. Wish it was longer. Strangely enough, here in this bed, I had some leftover ranunculus corms that had not died, and you know, like they just totally rotted on me in the basement. So I put them out here, and they are actually, can't see them in here, but they have actually plumped up and they're underneath the soil here. Who knows if they're actually going to do anything. There are a couple of gladiolus coming up from this pot. I had put them in very early with an elephant ear each, just to see what would happen. And so far nothing, except for this one having a couple of the gladiolus leaves popping up prematurely, but it all works. Here we go. These are the last of the there's still a couple of tulips to go. I think this might be allium foliage here. The muscaris across the board, and the crocuses here have all, of course, died back. But yeah, this was really fun to see from inside. So you are probably going to notice all of this wind. The wind is literally going nuts. In fact, you can see my little dwarf variegated willow down there is waving in the wind, and the one I'd planted just a random tulip bulb there in the shade just to see what would happen. And even behind it, there's a little allium in the ground next to it, right there. And then there's the tulip. There's the bed in the back. It's just gorgeous. Those are pink impressions in the very back. There's a lily flowering tulip there. There's some of the apricot delights. Everything that was supposed to be replete daffodils showed up there as yellow with orange Tahitis, but they're still beautiful. The white daffodils there are white lions. And then there are some other tulips in here, hopefully some double late Finola pink tulips, Finola. There I can see that they've got some buds over there. Let's see, I'm just gonna do it from up here. You can see whatever those red, kind of reddish orange tulips are back there that I just threw in the ground at the last minute. They're doing beautifully. I suspect that they are some Darwin hybrids. Allium foliage is up, and when I get down there, I'll show you just some peeking through of the very first buds. These tulips from several years ago that have come up every year so reliably, they're still going strong. I've been just starting to deadhead them. Over here in the corner, I'm hoping that these are carousel fringe tulips, or possibly some parrots that are just a little bit later than the others. Some of those yellow, I think they're called Yellowstone hyacinths, the pink impressions. You can see that there's the apricot delights with that kind of the lighter pink and then the darker pink, and they have the variegated foliage with some of the purple mottled bits. And then here in the back, we have what looks like possibly some doubles that are just starting to bud up there. Those might be parrots or something like that. And then there's some other ones that they're definitely looking different. I think these might be the apriconas finally coming in, just in the very back, that look different from all the others. The pink impressions are starting to go over, and this wind certainly is not helping. What I will show you as we get down there and that you'll see just right in the middle of the screen is the very first of the Clusiana Lady Jane tulips. They are literally like a tenth of the size of a regular tulip, and I did not realize that. I knew they were going to be small, right? I knew they were wild tulips, but that they were going to be smaller, but I had no idea that they were going to be so tiny or so kind of weed-like, and how much I was really not going to enjoy them in the flower border here. But I think they are going to end up being probably something that I put into the front lawn, since the front lawn gets so dead in the winter, and in fact is completely dead right now. Like, having this type of foliage coming up in it in the spring would probably help it look less dead, and you know, just like I think they'd be much cuter up there than back here with all these gorgeous big tulips. But there you can see, here's the entire lady tulip is, you know, like an inch or so. And I'm loving the hyacinths quite a bit. And here we'll do a nice close-up here of the very first popping up. And it's not the fault of the tulips. It's, you know, it's my fault. I knew they were going to be small, but I just didn't know they were going to be this small and weedy looking. You know, when you compare it to tulips, it's just, there's really no comparison there. But they're coming up, and I'm grateful for anything that comes up, especially if they can survive our winters and lack of moisture here. Got our Tahitis. Quite pretty. These ones I popped in, and they're just coming up. Here's the hydrangea from several years ago that just has not died. Like, God bless that little thing. I think a burning bush. These are some perennial salvias that have come back from last year, and something back here. I think it's that maybe a beard's tongue also coming back. And then over here we have some of the phlox is actually coming back, so kind of cool. And then I think this I had popped a couple of crocuses in there too. But you know, it's just amazing to see what's going to be coming up. So back over here, got some yellow rose bushes that are starting to really leaf out. Like, they're gonna be awesome. You know, hopefully. If they're not, you know, at least there are plants back here. But yeah, these are the ones, I think they're slightly different. They might still be the apriconas, but yeah, I think they're apricona, because these are definitely more apricot looking there than anything else. And then over here, that's definitely a parrot or a double. A couple of what I hope are the Acropolis daffodils, please come in. I think there's a couple of those, as well as some of my hyacinths, and then one hyacinth latifolium there in the back. But yeah, I think that these really must be the apriconas. I think they're supposed to get like 20 inches tall, but they didn't. But yeah, just so nice. But you know, a lot of these came up at once, which means that they're finishing it at once as well. So I'm looking forward to hopefully putting in some white tulips in here to kind of go along with and cover up. And you know, I'm honestly not really caring about the Lady Jane tulips, all 100 of them that I put in. I want to get some white tulips in there and some white regular hyacinths, probably the Carnegie type. But yeah, the wind is just tearing these apart right now. The wind is insane. And here's a hydrangea starting to go over, but I mean, they last extraordinarily long, and they have been just gorgeous. And look, here's one that just came up really tiny, and there's other ones that like little bulblets that are coming up. So the fact that this does not get so much sunshine was incredibly helpful. And then the shrub that is behind these pink tulips is a lilac. It's not a bloomerang double flowering lilac, it's just a regular one, but it'll be nice. Here are some tulips that, as I said at the end, I was just shoving them in and seeing where I could put some. So we'll see what kinds these are. I think they're going to be either parrots or carousel, and they are surrounding a partially dead, let's see, is this one? I think it's, no, it still has some green in there on this black lace elderberry, just no leaves up here, but they're definitely coming in down there, so don't write this little guy off. And then some snapdragons from last year, little kind of short yellow ones, but they're coming back on their own. This is actually another hydrangea that is from several years ago that like just pretty much died as soon as it went in the ground. But as you can see, it's like these are hardy plants. Okay, so now we're in this back area. I think that this back over here this may actually be one of the Finola double tulips that just was coming up kind of stunted and weird, possibly, because I've had some of those. This Merlot lily flowering tulip has been up for, I think, at least a solid week. It's really nice. You can see the other ones here are following suit. These leaves are much more pointed and thin, like really echoing how that is a lily flowering tulip as opposed to these pink impressions back there. So it's interesting how that happens. These are, I'm guessing, my apricot delights. There's some more in the main garden. I think that down there, I think these are maybe some additional hydrangeas that are just coming up late, or maybe some, I don't know. You know what? We'll see. I know what they are, but the more positive I am, the more sure I am I'm most likely wrong. But yeah, like they're just looking beautiful. And yeah, definitely not replete pink daffodils, but most likely Tahiti. But I do like how they look anyhow, even if they're not the pink and white daffodils. Just very much enjoying them. So yeah, I think, so if we look at these together, I'm pretty sure that this one here is an apricona that has like literally apricot colors with sort of a almost more like a fleshy stripe that has a little bit of green, kind of like a greenish brown, you know, that's become so popular with those bella pucks. And then over here, that's definitely more pink, and that is the apricot delight. Well, it should be, because they were supposed to have the very good, well, they have the very good foliage over on the other side, so we'll see. I'm not seeing any variegated foliage on this one, which is a hallmark of the apricot delights. So we'll just have to see. And then down here you can see that there are some like little bulblet offsets. This is tiny. This is like the size of the tip of my little finger down there. Are throwing up little extra tulips, and that's exciting. So this bed, I'm gonna call this bed a success. But what's really going to tell is if we get to next year and anything comes back, because that's what I'm really looking for overall, is tulip beds that come back year over year. And because yeah, I would love to not have to plant them every year, but I am really enjoying just getting more. I mean, like seriously, look at that. Like how gorgeous. Let's go this way so that you can see it. But like, I mean, how beautiful is that? That just makes me happy. All right. Well, thanks for coming with me on this journey. I'll see you later.